Okay, item number 7. This is a new item that really just kind of got on the agenda this week. We have some delegates here, a delegation that if you all have one spokesman who can present the views of the group in about 5 minutes.
Yes. Thank you, guys, for your work received today. I don't have enough to go around for everybody, so
we can share.
I pretty much know what's on there. I've seen it.
I have to
No, and this is the history of their violations. I do have one for each of this.
I got a history of their violations.
Their violations. Okay. Cool.
I gave you a copy of the
Okay, I'm actually here to speak about the proposed bluegrass pipeline that is trying to currently come through Marion County. It started, I got on board in Nelson County because they were trying to come through some land of my parents and uncle and some of my family members. And now it's shifted to Marion County. I think right now they're in the Raywick area. I don't know if y'all call it the Highview area, the Shake Creek area, but that's the people that they are contacting. Yesterday, I do know that they contacted Wayne Hagan. They spoke with him, and I spoke with Wayne this morning. So anyway, I got a little presentation, I'd like to speak about, and this is just some information about, I was at the Nelson County Physical Court meeting, and they're kind of trying to change their tactic now and say that this is going to benefit the American people. Oh, sorry. Which it's not. It's all going to the Gulf for export to the highest bidder.
Excuse me, would you come up here?
You're more welcome to come to the trial.
Yeah, come up front and we can see a little more what's going on there. I've seen these other guys happen, okay?
Okay. Anyway, this is one of the pipeline explosions that happened, and I'll kind of go briefly over those as well. Okay. Anyway, my name is Donna Boone Essex. My husband Leo and I live in Loretto. We are landowners and farmers in Marion, Nelson, and LaRue counties. We have been approached by a land rep who works for the Williams Company in surveying our land, which we said no. I'm here today to express my concerns about this proposed NGL pipeline and tell you a little of what I've found out about these natural gas liquids. So this is totally different than a natural gas line. First, it is not a natural gas pipeline that residents or businesses that can tap into for heating purposes. Second, the truth is this pipeline will be used to pump natural gas liquids from where they are being produced in Pennsylvania. Then the pipeline would run to Louisiana for processing, and as some experts and some say exported to the highest bidder overseas for profit to the Williams and Boardwalk Company. What are the liquids that would be in this pipeline? NGLs consist of ethane, propane, butane, isobutane, natural gas, which includes the chemical benzene, toluene, ethyl benzene, and xylenes. They are considered hazardous substances that require high pressure and low temperatures to remain in liquid state. These NGLs are highly flammable, colorless, and odorless, and the chemical benzene can even cause cancer. The Williams Company's evacuation plan states, in the event of an NGL pipeline leak, turn off all engines and electricity and gas, go on foot to higher ground, and call 911. If these NGLs were to leak, it could be locally devastating. Something my little boy said to me, there is more underground here than what we think there is. And he is right. We have one of the most famous karst areas in the world, which means our land here is filled with underground springs, caves, streams, and sinkholes. When a Kentucky geologist was asked recently about an NGL pipeline leak, he stated, a natural gas liquid leak in Kentucky would take centuries to clean up. One of my biggest concerns is that if someone allows this easement through their property, it would devalue their property as well as the neighbor's property. I have read articles from professional land appraisal groups who state, once easements are purchased and the pipeline company can come back, change the product it's transporting, add more pipelines, increase pressure in the pipeline, all without informing the landowner or compensation to him or her. Lastly, with what appears to be Williams' history of safety violations, fines, leaks, and explosions, such as 2004 $30,000 fine for a fire in Colorado, 2008 explosion, Virginia gas line caused a 1,000-foot burn zone, which is here. 2009 fined $952,000 failure to monitor corrosion. November 2010 to June 2011 fined $275,000 for failure to prevent potential pollutants during construction. 2011 fined $23,000 for failure to conduct own annual inspections. December of 2011, pipeline explosion in Alabama, which burned 8 acres. March of 2012, an explosion in Pennsylvania, 1 ton of methane was released. In 2013, an NGL leak in Parachute, Colorado, found by accident, benzene had contaminated soil and 130 ton per day has been stockpiled. 2013, an explosion and fire at the Gizmar plant that killed 2 people, injured 70, and 62,000 pounds of toxic chemical released. This plant is reported to have 3 years non-compliance with the Federal Clean Air Act and no OSHA inspection in 10 years. These are just a few of the fines and violations that concern me. My husband and I were both born and raised in the Marion and Nelson County area and grew up on farms. Do we want someone from outside coming into our community, devaluing our lands, destroying our environment for our kids, only for these companies to make profit from what we have worked for all our lives? And I'm asking for the fiscal court to pass a possible resolution and opposing this, and possibly putting in some type of ordinance to prevent these type of gas lines from coming into our county and destroying our property.
I got a copy of the resolution. Thank you, Donna. Say at the meeting in Loretta there Monday evening, there was what I thought was the sample resolution, or it's not really the power of ordinance, but the 2 issues that were the most concerning there was, this pipeline is not, it's kind of a hybrid. It falls between the cracks of natural gas and petroleum lines that are normally regulated by EPA or Corps of Engineers or some of the regulatory agencies that control and do oversight and do assessment of pathways and damage, environmental impact statements, that kind of thing. The other thing is, does this company, as a private for-profit company, it's not a public utility, does it have eminent domain capabilities? And I think that, the resolution that I had that was had Franklin County language that I cleaned out, requests the governor to place this on the call for a special session to make the determination of whether those 2 terms, those 2 things apply.
I think recently they have passed the resolution. And I think I have that resolution that they actually passed.
I got it today.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Email, but it's not the same thing that I've got as a resolution for the court to consider today. But the resolution that Franklin County actually passed is different than what I've written, but this still asks those two important questions. I think it's worth considering and worth passing. Have you all had an opportunity to read the resolution that I had written and proposed? Be it resolved that Marion County Fiscal Court, after much deliberation and mindful of its responsibility to protect public health, safety, and environment in Marion County, does hereby express its grave concerns regarding the proposed bluegrass pipeline. Among these concerns are the lack of advance review by any governmental body, that's the EPA and other things about the pathway and so forth. Possibility landowners in Marion County may be burdened with easements on their property for the pipeline, and the threat that their property may be condemned in the absence of agreement in the domain. And so for these reasons, Marion County Fiscal Court this night expresses its opposition to the routing of the bluegrass pipeline through Marion County and urges the government to amend the special session call to address these two concerns. And requests the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the local district, work in conjunction with other corps along the pathway, and calls on bluegrass pipeline partners to agree to work with those agencies and the Corps of Engineers to voluntarily commit to development of an environmental impact statement, irrespective of whether it's required to, it's going to be believed when it's required or not. So basically, it's asking for those compliance issues.
Right. I had a couple points that I would like to hit on. The reason I was about the resolution, and I still feel strongly about passing the resolution, but I also talked to Joe as well, and he kind of let me in on what a resolution and what an ordinance, the difference in the two, and how one can be overridden, at different times, so that's kind of why I kind of thought, well, if maybe it's somehow we can consider some type of ordinance to put in place. That way, even though the resolution gives the residents the comfort that our local government is backing us, then if we pass an ordinance, we feel kind of protected by you all that they don't have the power to come in and take our land from us that we paid for, and it's going to destroy the value of our land, and not for just us, for our kids, our grandkids, down the road. And then anybody who has possibly, they may call you or contact you that has given written permission to sign to survey their land. In that packet up there is a rescind for rescinding your permission. Well, in that packet I passed out there a while ago, if somebody happens to contact you all, y'all can either maybe make a copy of that and give it to them. They can write a letter. It's a couple letters, and you can also give them my name and number, and they can contact me on how to do that. Because they're getting misled when these companies approach them. It's not.
Let me say this, like yourself, I'm a landowner, and like yourself, when I leave the land, I want it to be in good shape for the next person. The earth is full of easements and pipes and wires that make our lives better.
Right.
And those things they're still a pain, but they make everybody's life better. As far as I'm concerned, this thing doesn't make our life any better, it's going to be a nuisance. So,
you're right. This benzene, if it leaks into the ground, it can penetrate through plastic, which is what our water pipeline is made out of. So there's no benefit really to the American people. The benefit will go to Oklahoma, to Boardwalk and Williams Company, because they're making $1, because it's going to be shipped overseas.
Well, as far as
they have a basic, their safety record is very poor.
Right, and then they really don't have regulations. It's not, I can't really go into detail, but Tom Fitzgerald was very thorough the other night on this type of pipeline is so new that don't have many regulations.
And it falls between the cracks of natural gas and petroleum lines, and
right.
Kind of a hybrid based on the new technologies.
As far as an ordinance, that'd be something that the county attorney would have to write up and advise us on.
Right.
I think I did send county attorney a copy of the resolution. It was really just kind of adapted from what I was given down there Monday night from the Franklin County language.
I'll make a motion to pass that resolution,
So
okay?
we have a motion.
I'd second, yeah, I'd like to, also, maybe we can note in there, I like what they put, a resolution to oppose the construction of any portion of the Bluegrass Pipeline in there, so maybe another little statement might put in there, more concrete. I think it's a bad outfit altogether.
Okay, I guess we can pass the resolution and work toward maybe have some advisement from the county attorney on an ordinance at the next meeting or a later
Thank
date.
you all very much. That would be great.
Thank you.
Okay, a motion and a second.
Mr. Mesh,
Yes.
Mr. Smothers.
Yes.
Mr. Quill,
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Unanimous.
I will say I spoke to Mr. Elder last night on the telephone. He thought he may not be here today, but he did tell me to be sure that everybody understood that he stood opposed to the pipeline, okay?
I did call him, but I didn't get a return phone call.
Yeah, he called about 1 o'clock. He was at a meeting in early. He did express that he wanted to go on record as supporting this resolution.
Great.
And I left your message on your answering machine.
Yes, you did. I was at the Lorraine County meeting. I apologize. I called you back.
Okay, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let us know any developments.
So,
Okay, I get
You
updates,
probably voted in
so I'll
Yeah,
pass
you
it along to you.
You're probably here before we do.
The resolution is passed, and we will look at some language that we might have drafted as an ordinance later date. So,
Thank you.
So that's the resolution that needs to be sent to the governor.
you have a copy of it?
I've got the envelopes addressed.
Okay. Yeah, we also recommend and ask the clerk of the Marion County Fiscal Court to send a copy of this resolution to the governor, leadership of the House and the Senate, and our state senator and state representatives. So hopefully the message will get carried forward and get some results.